The Scenic Route 2021. Day one began as we left Las Vegas to start our 15-day adventure across 3 states and over 15 AVAs. Our first stop was Paso Robles. We headed to Lone Madrone in the winding hills on Adelaida Road. We enjoyed lunch and tasted through their wines and ciders, and then took in the view. We might have picked up a bottle or two for our 12 days of wine this year, hint. Then we headed to the coast, rolling down our windows and taking in the salt air as we enjoyed the scenery on the spectacular Pacific Coast Highway. Our day ended with fish and chips on the Old Fisherman's Wharf in Monterey. Day 2 saw us continuing up the coast past Santa Cruz to Bonnie Doon Beach, immersing ourselves in the natural beauty of the area. Lunch that day was at Sam's Chowder House, a popular stop in Half Moon Bay with terrific food and great views. Then it was on to San Francisco. And across the iconic Golden Gate Bridge. To arrive finally in Sonoma's Healdsburg, where we met with Susie Selby of Selby Wines. Susie has continued the vision of this winery that she began with her father. Her wines have been served to 4 different administrations in the White House. Our day finished with a drive through the beautiful and windy Mayakama Mountains. Day 3 began at the biodynamic and regenerative Troon Vineyards in southern Oregon's Applegate Valley. General Manager Craig Camp gave us a tour of the property and introduced us to some of their biodynamic practices. We tasted through some of their unique wines, including their Couply Bench Amber and their 2020 Vizant Dry Red Sparkling Wine. Day 4 took us to the Umpqua Valley, beginning with Melrose Estate, where they were joined by Triple Oak Vineyard. The Meadows family are relatively new to the region, and you can expect to hear more about them from us soon. We headed to Elkton, where we tasted in the Brandborg Cellar, and then headed upstairs to taste with Lexine. The next stop was Bradley Vineyards. Tyler Bradley of Bradley Vineyards and Colin Duddy of River's Edge poured wines for us on the patio overlooking the vineyard. Lunch was at Russell Vineyard, where we enjoyed their Sauvignon Blanc on the deck with avocado toast, and then we were treated to a sit-down lunch in their caves paired with their wines. We were then off to Cooper Ridge Vineyard near Roseburg to sip their wines and enjoy some spectacular views. Then across the road to Nosman Family Winery. Their tasting room is perched on the edge of the North Umpqua River. Dinner was at the historic Parrot House, a restored home turned event center with great atmosphere and delicious food. Our second day in the Umpqua began at Spangler Vineyards, where they concentrate on Bordeaux varieties. Then we headed to Avicella, where they specialize in Spanish varieties. General Manager Gavin Joel gave us the history of the winery, where research and science are key. We tasted through Albarreños and Tempranillos, alongside a cheese board with local artisan and Spanish cheeses. Varesen had been on here, and we snuck into the vineyard to take a peek at the purpling berries. Our next stop was at the family-owned Delfino Vineyards, where owners Jim and Terry Delfino walked us through their history and their wines. Then it was on to Melrose Vineyards, where Wayne Parker opened their doors and welcomed us like family. We enjoyed a delicious vegetarian lunch and were invited to pair it with any of the over a dozen wines that they currently have in their lineup. We next visited Hillcrest Vineyards, the first commercial winery in Oregon that is now run by Dyson DeMara. Dyson brings a vast education and understanding of wine from around the world and translates that into an in-depth exploration of the terroir of this region through the use of concrete fermenters and extended maceration. Dyson is also part owner of our next stop, the urban winery Paul O'Brien. Winemaker Scott Kelly walked us through their renovated Chevy dealership, Gone Winery, and we even did some barrel tasting. We finished our visit in their beautiful tasting room, sipping their Malmsey, their nod to the sweet wines of Madeira. Our last wine stop of the day was Trella, located in a historical building on Jackson Street in downtown Roseburg. This building dates back to 1913. Dinner was at Catch 22, where they served elevated fish and chips in a renovated church. Days 7 and 8 took us to Eugene and the Wine Media Conference, with Zephyr Conference's Alan Wright kicking off the event.
This is like so thrilling to see all of you in this room. I cannot tell you, it's good therapy for a destination marketer.
First day sessions were filled with education sessions for writers and media, as well as tastings with DOC Della Venezia and the sweet wines of Bordeaux. There were more tastings with a live white wine social. The day ended with a little downtown Eugene. Travel Lane County invited us to the 5th Street Alley and the newly opened Gordon Hotel. Local winemakers poured, while we enjoyed small bites and artisan charcuterie and cheeses. Day 2 of the conference had us tasting again with a session on Pecorino d'Abruzzo, as well as the wines of Italy's La Marche. And we had an entertaining lunch with friends at a local Japanese steakhouse. The afternoon session had us tasting Oregon sparkling wines, followed by the live red wine social. Post-conference, we headed into the Columbia Gorge to soak in some nature, including Joaquin Falls and the Bonneville Hatchery, where we met Herman, the 80-year-old surgeon at their interpretive center. We made a quick stop in Hood River to pick up breakfast, then continued on to Caprio Cellars in Walla Walla. Emily, their hospitality manager, met us at the door with sparkling wine. We found a comfortable spot outside to sit, and they led us through a tasting of their wines, paired with delicious gourmet bites. This wasn't something special just for us. This is what they do for each and every guest that walks through their door. The location is just south of Walla Walla and has beautiful views of the Blue Mountains and the Walla Walla Valley. That evening, we stayed at the Finch, a fresh and quirky boutique hotel in downtown Walla Walla, and breakfasted the next day at Claret's, a great local spot. Constance from Lacole number 41 took us out to their Seven Hills Vineyard and then up to the Ferguson Vineyard that sits on an ancient lava flow with soils of fractured basalt. From here at the top of the vineyard, the entire Walla Walla Valley is laid out before you. We returned to the schoolhouse to do a tasting, before heading back through the gorge to the Willamette Valley. That night, we stayed at the beautiful Utopia Log Cabin on the same property as their winery. They have beautiful views of the Ribbon Ridge AVA and stunning starscapes at night. Our morning started early at Lenny Estate, where they have a stunning tasting room that looks like it was plucked out of the French countryside. Located in the Yamhill Carlton AVA, we climbed the steep Kill Hill Vineyard to the top to take in the views and learn more about their prized poor soils. We finished our visit with a tasting with owner and winemaker Steve Lutz, who explained his winemaking style. Then it was off to Bells Up in the Chehalem Mountains. Sarah Spector designed a barn quilt sign for their tasting room. Dave Spector began as a Garage East winemaker in Cincinnati. The couple moved here to Oregon to fulfill their winemaking dreams. We returned to the Utopia Vineyard to meet owner and winemaker Dan Warsice, see the vineyard, and taste through his wines in the tasting room. One more night at the beautiful Utopia cabin. Talk about a spectacular view to enjoy with your morning coffee. Our final day in the Willamette found us at Youngberg Hill in the McMinnville AVA. Owner Wayne Bailey took us on a vineyard tour describing the soils and microclimates of the different blocks. Back at their beautiful inn and tasting room, we did a side-by-side Pinot tasting to truly see the difference those soils make in the wine. Day 13 was spent exploring Eugene with friends who took us to Bluebird Hill in Monroe, then to Benton Lane and Hayworth. Our final days took us back into nature to Yosemite. We soaked in the natural beauty, exploring the Tuolumne Grove, and taking in the sights on the Tioga Road before returning to Vegas. As you can see, we packed in quite a lot on this trip. So many stories to tell. Watch for all the details on all the amazing places and wineries we visited, coming soon to Fresh Grape Chronicles.